Hello and welcome to my channel, and today I'm back with another tutorial on Madhubani painting, and today's topic is Tree of Life, and we are going to make it in traditional kachni style. If you're wondering what is kachni, we will discuss it further in the video. To check out the material and other necessary links, you can always check the description box where you'll find the link to watch this same video in Hindi as well. So let's begin with the tutorial today. So this is a A4 size paper which I'm using to draw. It is 300 GSM thick, and this is a nib and holder which you can use if you want to do it with the nib, but instead today I'm going to use black pen. It is quick and easy for the beginners, absolutely apt for the beginners. So I'm using two thicknesses here. As you can see, the one is, I'm going to show you why. So this one is thicker one 1 mm, so this is for sketching or to make the outline, and the other one which I am using is 0.5 mm, and this is for the fine lines. So these are the two pens that I'm going to use today to draw or to sketch. You can use any black pen, whatever is easily available. So let's begin with the tutorial. If you're new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe and stay tuned. I try to post Madhubani painting tutorials and other folk art every week. So here we go. We begin with sketching the borders. As you always know that, I always start with the borders. I try to create the frame on all four sides, and you know that I do it freehand. I do not like to use scale because that is the right way to do it. If you want to learn it in the right way, please do not use scale and try to do it freehand. That will give you much more confidence, and later, when you are an expert, you will definitely thank me. So here we go. We are just creating a 3-lined border frame. And today's border is another new pattern, new design. So I'm sure you're excited about it. I am excited to the most. I'm always excited to create new paintings. So here we go. After doing the sketch of the outline of the border or the frame, so we are going to first create this in the corner. I always give you a tip to start from the corner. That is the best way, so that you know exactly from where you have to start and where you have to end. So this is what I'm going to do. Just, I drew just two petal-like structure on the corners, and then in between just creating these semicircular pattern. It is perfect, easy for the beginners and not that difficult. So here we go. We are going to do this as a border. So I'm going to complete it later. And now we start with drawing the tree of life. So this is basically the structure. We start with a big semicircle with double line. So this is how we are going to do. And as I said, today we are going to do kachni, and more in kachni is basically style of Madhubani painting where you fill in the motifs with patterns, mostly patterns, and less colors are used. So that is what I'm going to do. Most of the time, if you see a very traditional and old painting of kachni, they used just patterns, and it was done in monotones, mostly in black and red. So that is what we are going to do today, but we are going to give it a little bit contemporary touch or a modern touch, or you can say, a little bit I'm going to do it in my style. So that is what we are going to do. If you want to check out my other paintings, you can always follow me on Instagram at the Tanushri, and there you will see my other paintings as well. So here we go. We, first of all, we drew the tree's stem, and then exactly in the bottom, in the corner on one side, we drew the peacock. So you have to make sure that the body of the peacock is touching to the stem. So we are going to repeat it on the other side as well. So here this stem is going to help me basically to draw the body. So big curve, putting it a little bit circular shape inside and just extending it below. So this is very easy to draw freehand. You don't have to worry. Just be confident in what you're doing. So here we go. I'm just trying to turn it for you guys to see it better. And then the beak first, because it's going to touch to the body, because I'm showing that the peacock is basically playing, or the beak is just trying to touch the body. So that's basically what I'm going to show today. So these are two different peacocks. Don't worry about the size. At the shape, it may differ, but it will look really beautiful if you do it in this way. And then I'm going to extend the stems and branches above, and I'm going to make it in really nice curve forms so that it looks nicely designed and beautiful. And if it is touching the walls, it is even better, even beautifuler, even nicer. I don't think beautifuler is a word. I'm sorry for that. So it is even nicer and prettier. So that's what I'm going to do. And I'm just going to extend it here. And then I'm going to just draw the top as well. So going to repeat it on the other side as well. So just trying to make like this. Now after doing the branches, what comes? You all know. It's the leaves. So there are many leaves. Just you have to make sure that they are very near to one another. Just like here, as you see. So we are going to place it super near to one another, just sticking to one another. The more nearer you place, the more prettier it looks. And this is how we are going to put it on a curvy stem. So we are going to just place it like this and just, keep it very close to one another. So this is the process I'm going to repeat for the entire tree. So here we go. I'm going to show you a little bit more so that you know exactly how to do it on all sides. And then a few of them in the bottom as well. So not really touching the peacock's body, but a little bit above it. So that's how we are going to cover it with leaves on all the stems everywhere. A little bit I'm going to show you on the top as well. So here we go, how we are going to do the top. And then I'm going to little bit thicken the border or make it a little thicker, the tree stem and also the peacock's body. So instead of those double lines, I'm going to make it thicker. That is the way to do it in kachni style. In kachni, we usually fill in with patterns. You can also do the double lines instead, but I like it like this. I like it really nice when it is a little bit thicker. So after doing this, I'm just going to show you what I'm going to do with the border. So here we go. We are just going to shade it with black. So here comes my pen with the fine tip. So for these fine lines, I'm going to use the pen with the fine tips. And before that, I was using the thicker pen with a thicker tip. And here I'm going to shade it with red. The alternate which I left blank, I'm going to shade it with red. So you can do this or you can also fill in color, whatever you want. So here we go ahead. Now I'm going to fill the leaves. When I'm done completely with the drawing of the leaves, I'm going to fill it with fine lines. Now you have to look very closely. The fine lines, are very fine, and they are, super, you have to do it very neatly. I mean to say that they are, they might interact with each other. So you have to be very careful while you are drawing these fine lines. And then we are going to do a little bit design on the stem. So here we go. We are going to just put some parallel lines. In between, you can add some circles and just fill it with black paint, the rest part. So it looks like this after doing it. And then on the top as well, just I'm going to fill in black color. So in this main stem of the tree on which it is standing, you have to be careful that I'm not completely going to fill it with black. I'm going to later do some pattern in it, which is in the thicker part. But in the thinner part, it is very difficult to do the pattern that I'm going to do today. So what I'm going to do is fill it with black. And I'm going to use that rest of the black for the other stems, the tiny ones, the thinner ones as well. So here, now for this part, I'm going to do is checkered pattern. So in between, as you saw, I just drew some parallel lines and then tiny circles, again parallel lines. And now here the gap is going to be filled with this checks. So this is the pattern that I'm going to use for this thicker part of the tree. And then moving on, as you see, I have already completed the peacock on one side. Don't worry, I'm going to show it how to do exactly on the other side. So this is, first of all, we start with the beak. And here again, the fine lines. So you have to just be careful, what pen you are using, the finer pen or the thicker pen. Or if you're using just one pen, which is a finer version, that's also fine. But you have to make sure that for this fine lines, you have a little bit finer pen. It looks prettier that way. The more intricate the lines will be, the better the patterns come out. So that is one tip from my side. So here we go, the same checkered pattern in the neck as well. And again, tiny patterns here. You can also use circles instead of these semicircular pattern just that I made in the neck. And then again, fine lines. So this is very fine pattern that I'm going to use. And then here, working on the top of the head, which is another very beautiful part of the peacock. Again, fine lines, diagonally putting it on the all three lines here. So this is how we do it. So here we go, and then creating the eye of the peacock, which is also very important. I'm making a little bit darker, and then another circle inside that big circle and filling it with black paint, but not making it too much. Just in the center, there has to be a white part left because that is how it gets highlighted. So look at it. After filling it with fine lines completely in the leaves, they look gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. So I may say that, for the beginners, it might be a little bit difficult. But as I said, with the pen, you can really achieve this finish. And it looks really gorgeous. So I can say that, if you really try to create, also the people who are looking for making, advanced paintings in Madhubani style, it's perfect for you, this tutorial. And you can make a really nice and beautiful painting. So here we go. We are just creating the pattern in the peacock's body. And now here I'm going to create tiny fishes in this semicircular part. So just see, the easy way to do fishes freehand is just create like a leaf, a triangle attached to it, and a tiny circle as eye. So that's the easiest way to draw a fish. And then I'm going to move on to this part of the body where you can see I have, drawn this pattern, which is a dotted line pattern, which we usually do a lot of times in kachni style of Madhubani painting. You can add few more fishes here. I'm planning to add 2 more fishes later, but I'm going to show you first here the tail part of the peacock. So here we go. We are just going to draw some lines. Now these lines are drawn with the pencil because on this line I'm going to just use as a reference. So maybe a little bit this side. I'm just going to check which line looks better and then I'm going to use. So the earlier one was better. So I'm going to use that only as my reference. And on that line, I'm going to draw double-lined circles. So those pencil marks, we are going to remove it later by the help of an eraser. But I'm just going to use that as a reference line where I'm going to put the circles. So these are the double-lined circles. And you see how I'm placing those circles in between, not exactly parallelly, so that it creates a kind of pattern which looks much more interesting. And then attaching it with the line. So this is basically the same thing that we did in case you watched my tutorial for the twin peacocks, the beautiful, gorgeous twin peacocks that we created last week. In case you missed it, you can check the link in the description box. I'll try to put it in the description box and you can check there. So here we go. I'm going to draw the pattern in the fish's body. So these are simple scale-like patterns in the body and then fine lines here in the tail of the fish, and that's it. We are going to repeat it for the other fish, and I'm going to later draw 2 more fishes. So in the end, I'm going to place the sketch for you guys so that you can see, have a closer look at it and how it looks like, so that you can exactly replicate it. And then we go to the tail part of the peacock, which is the last thing that I have to show you, the pattern here. So here again, I'm going to use fine lines, super fine lines, and they look really beautiful once you place them perfectly. So I'm going to use, kind of V-like pattern, creating and connecting with one another. So here the last part is to put these tiny patterns on the body. And this is exactly how your sketch should look like once it is done. And after that is the time to fill in colors. So I start with The colors that I start with is red, which is my favorite color. So here we go, and we are just going to put in red here as the background. So as I said, this is, you can leave it like this before, don't add any color. It is a complete painting. Trust me, this is a kachni painting. But if you want to just, add a little bit of modern touch or a little bit, unique touch, I just recommend to do this. It looks really beautiful after it is done. So I'm going to use this red color as a background, and red is my favorite color. I love red. I think every painting of mine I have created always has a red, because that's my favorite color. So here we go. We are just going to do the background, and you have to be very careful while you are filling in colors. And I'm using acrylic paint, which I have always, I tell you, I have always told you before also that please dilute it with water. Many of you post questions and ask me that why my paint is so smooth and nice. Because I dilute my acrylic paint with water, make a smooth consistency before I apply it on my paper. So here we go. We have to go through every nook and corner, so you have to be very careful while you're doing this design. Now as we go inside in these, in these corners of these tree stems, these background where there are no leaves or no stem, that is one of the most difficult part. So you have to be very careful while doing it. Better use a very thin, size brush. So the brush currently that I'm using is a size 2 round brush. And I think I'm the most comfortable with this brush. Maybe for you it's 0, 1, whatever is your comfort zone. Try to find a brush which is really suitable for you. So this is the brush that I'm using. It's a round brush and size 2. And here we go. We are just going to slowly fill the red background. And the moment you fill the red, you can see the black design getting highlighted. And then I have used one more color, that is blue. So today's palette is limited. It's mostly the work of those patterns, those amazing intricate patterns of Madhubani. Today the palette is limited to just blue and red. So here we go. In this part also we are going to use blue. And blue and red, or blue and orange, they look so beautiful. I can't express it. So they look terrific once you combine it. The blue and red, or blue and orange also, they look gorgeous together. So here we go. We are just going to fill in the blue color. And in case, guys, if you have applied the color and you feel that it doesn't look that good, you can let it dry and put another coat if if you see some patches there. That is one thing that I do, and it looks then perfect. Now here in the border, I just feel that somehow I don't like those lines. So I'm just going to replace it with some red paint. If you want, you can just leave the lines. But see, as I put the red paint, it really gets highlighted, my border. Because somehow when I applied the color, I felt that the border was missing out and it was not looking that great, because we have to also highlight this beautiful border design. So I just thought to replace it with red color, those lines. Now it looks gorgeous. Now the last step is to put those fine lines here as well. So this wavy lines. So these look like, super gorgeous lines, and they look superb, and they give you the feeling of water. Like they give you a feeling that these fishes are swimming in water. So that's the end part. That's we are almost done with the painting. So you can let me know in the comment section below how you like this tutorial. I find this painting really beautiful and gorgeous, and I'm going to create maybe a bigger size of this. This is just A4 size. Maybe later I'm going to make a bigger size and hang it in my room. So this looks really gorgeous. I love this design. I loved creating this painting. I'm sure you like this tutorial too. Do let me know in the comment section below, and don't forget to like this video and do subscribe to my channel. It is a great motivation for me when I get lovely comments from you guys. So this is the painting, how it looks like. Thank you so much for watching this video. Stay tuned with many more tutorials in future.